Hi everybody, it's Rich the awning guy here. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. Welcome to Facebook Friday at 4 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. As is usually the case, spring is still trying to fight its way in. And today, if you're joining us, we're coming to you live from Nutley, New Jersey. And right behind me is a beautiful cassette-style retractable awning. And if you're like some people that own a retractable awning, you may have had some impact with birds. And by impact, I mean, I think I'm going to call them bankers rather than birds. See what's happening here. Sorry, having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to call these guys bankers because as is the case with humans, birds love awnings. And the reason birds love awnings is when you think about a retractable awning, you typically, what comes to mind is the old school lateral arm retractable awning that you see pretty much most places, with the optional hood that sits over the fabric and a valance, the flappy, frilly thing that hangs down from the front end of the awning. But what I'm standing underneath here is, I dare to say, a newer style because it's been around for quite some time, but it's a lesser known version of retractable awning. This is called a cassette-style retractable awning. Now, what is a cassette-style retractable awning? Well, the reason that this product was born was basically, obviously you can't span metal forever. As you start to get somewhere around 16, 18, 20 feet, the aluminum starts to smile and bow and flex. And so on most higher end retractable awnings, you would require a center support somewhere in the middle of the awning, just basically bracing the awning up so that it doesn't smile too much and give us too much deflection. That keeps the fabric looking nice and gives it some nice longevity. And fast forward a few decades, our partners in Europe realized that rather than having a thin little collar that is designed to hold the awning up, what if we were to make and turn this into a tray and support the entire width of the awning? So rather than just having a little collar holding the awning up, what if we turned it that collar into a tray, and rather than putting an optional hood over the top of the awning to cover the fabric, what if we actually integrated the hood and wrapped it around the back and tied it into the front, so that way when the awning projection retracts, it actually forms a cassette. So, a little adjustment there. So what you're looking at behind me is a cassette-style retractable awning. And like I said, this is a newer style retractable. So why a cassette-style retractable awning? Well, if you've ever owned an awning, especially if you've owned it for several decades or more, you'll realize that eventually the fabric starts to wear. And a lot of that has to do with how badly you abuse the fabric, how badly you leave it out in the rain, and whether or not you've had bankers making deposits or other environmental debris accumulating on the fabric. And the cassette-style retractable awning was born basically as a product that essentially elongates the life expectancy of the fabric. So with most of our high-end retractable products, the fabric's going to last generally 12 to 18 years. It could last a little bit less if you abuse the product. It could last a lot longer if you take good care of the product. We just recovered an awning this year that was about 28 years old. So birds, I mentioned birds, or bankers. So this awning behind me actually takes the place of a retractable awning that was previously in its place, and that retractable awning was infested by birds. So what would happen is the birds would find a nice little sanctuary on top of the roller tube where the fabric accumulates, and underneath the awning where it's nice and warm, nice and dry. And unfortunately for us, they like to make deposits on the fabric, and it does not look so snazzy as it did when it was brand new. So what can we do about that? So Europe, in their goal to lengthen the life expectancy of the fabric, also realized that we'd be able to kill two birds, pardon the pun, with one stone by creating this cassette-style retractable awning. And when we integrated the hood into the tray, we also boxed out the system. We created a system where the fabric is now completely enclosed from the elements and birds can't get to it. So there are two types of cassette-style retractable awnings, and what you're looking at right now is the full cassette option. So there are two types, like I said. One is a semi-cassette retractable awning, and the other is a full cassette retractable awning. What are the differences between the two? So on a full cassette retractable awning, you don't see anything at all. You'll notice here that all of the fabric and all of the operating hardware, arms, and everything is actually hidden from view. This is a really contemporary, sleek-looking retractable awning, and it is literally as high-end as you can get. It's got a lot more aluminum than your standard style retractable awning, and it has a lot more aluminum than even a semi-cassette style retractable awning. And the reason for that is it protects the fabric a lot more than an optional hood or your classic style or traditional style retractable awning. The other type is a semi-cassette. So what you would see if this were a semi-cassette awning, you would actually see the arms that go in and out and fold up against the house, but you would not see the fabric. So in a semi-cassette retractable awning, these are both very quickly growing popular products within the WindowWorks line. On a semi-cassette retractable awning, the fabric is still completely hidden from view. It is also completely hidden from birds. And so since they can't get to it, the semi-cassette or the full cassette retractable awning elongates the life of the fabric, and not only by keeping it out of the elements, away from pollen, away from sun, away from rain, but also away from birds, bankers. So for folks that are facing east or west, on certain models, on certain sizes, obviously depending on where you're mounting the awning and how the sun is situated, eventually the sun is going to rise or set underneath the awning. So on a retractable awning, there is an option called a drop valance, and basically that's an awning built into the awning. So we'll see when the awning comes out. That the front bar is a little bit larger than average. On a drop valance awning, there would actually be a roller tube with additional fabric, somewhere around 4 or 5 feet long, inside of this, where if I hit another button, the fabric would come down. And now, for folks facing east or west, now we would have the entire morning's or evening's worth of shade, regardless of where the sun sets or rises, because now we've got an additional 4 or 5 feet of shade. You'll notice that this awning does not have the optional valance or the fabric flap that hangs down at the front end, and this is by design. Also because this is a more contemporary model. And quite frankly, you don't need one because, again, the whole goal of this system is to be a little more maintenance-free. And without the optional valance out front, we can add it for you. So if you like that look, that's certainly not a problem. But like I said, this is a little more contemporary look. And I'm going to bring this in so we can see. This is a 2-arm system. This one obviously is motorized. And it takes about 30 seconds to project or retract. So like I said, this is a quickly growing model within the line here. And if you're looking for extra protection, or if you're in a really weathered environment like on the water, or in a very wooded, densely wooded area where you've got a lot of pollen and critters that like to nest on the fabric underneath the hood, this would be an excellent option. We sell most of our cassette-style retractable awnings to past customers that have an awning that's 20 years old, that they've had it with the fabric and they want a new system anyway, and this is an upgrade. Costs a few bucks more than a regular retractable awning, but your amortized cost is going to be make that go away, because your fabric's going to last a lot longer with this style. So if you have any questions, give us a call or visit our brand new redesigned website at windowworks-nj.com. And I appreciate you joining. We'll talk to you soon. Take care for now.